The recreational skipper's ticket is based on a standard, and a skipper must be able to demonstrate it. Feedback must be offered to applicants on progress towards competence for the ticket. Assessment may only be undertaken in a suitably equipped vessel. All instructions must be clear, and no instruction or coaching may take place during the assessment. Practical assessment may be conducted as part of a course using continuous assessment or as a standalone item. Unsafe skippering is considered a major breach and is unacceptable and will result in immediate failure at any stage during the assessment. One minor breach of Task 1 is permitted. If two minor breaches occur, the assessment is terminated. 2 attempts are permitted on all other tasks. All criteria must be met in a single attempt. Following 2 attempts, if all the criteria are not met, the assessment is terminated.
Good morning, my name's Rod and I'll be taking your practical assessment today. Do you have your application forms, ID and any additional forms with you?
Yes.
Only applicants who have already been successful in the theory component may be assessed practically.
Thanks, Ray.
ID must be checked again.
Thanks, Ray.
You must fulfil your occupational health and safety obligations to your applicants. There will always be a safety brief before a practical assessment takes place, and applicants must never be in doubt about what you expect of them.
Thanks, Larry. During the assessment, I'll be watching you skipper your vessel. To pass, you have to show me that you're driving to the standards for the RST as set down by the department. Unsafe skippering is considered a major breach and is unacceptable and will result in immediate failure at any stage during the assessment. One minor breach of Task 1 is permitted. If 2 minor breaches occur, the assessment will be terminated. 2 attempts are permitted on all other tasks. All criteria must be met in a single attempt. Following 2 attempts, if all the criteria are not met, the assessment is terminated. The assessment will go for about 45 minutes. During the assessment, I'll give directions to dock, complete a man overboard, etc. At all times, follow the collision regulations. If at any stage I haven't explained things well enough, please let me know and I'll run through it again. I can repeat instructions, but I won't be telling you how to skipper. Please note that I'll be recording information as we go. If I write something down, don't assume you've made any mistakes, because I'm also recording the good things you do. At the end of each task, I'll give you your result and information on how you skippered.
On others in the environment, procedures, rules and regulations, condition of vessel and equipment, performance of the boat and personnel is monitored at all times. Task 2. Berthing mooring equipment. Criteria. The applicant demonstrates that their vessel's mooring berthing equipment is appropriate and serviceable by checking that berthing mooring lines are in good condition, checking that the cleats, bits, etc. are sound and secure, securing the vessel using the lines and cleats.
Ray, I want you to show me the vessel is secure and your mooring lines and equipment are in good condition.
Okay.
You want to see the vessel secured well enough that it would come to no harm if it were left for a few hours or more. Check for security any knots that are used.
Well, the ropes are the right length for the job. They're thick enough for easily handling and strong enough to do what they're required to do. There is no sign of any UV damage on the ropes at all. The cleats are welded to a thickened metal piece here, and there's no sign of any metal fatigue on there either.
Well, Ray, are you happy that your vessel is safely secured?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Very good. Okay, Laurie, are you happy that your vessel's securely moored?
Oh, this line's a bit crook. Is it all right if I climb aboard and change it over?
This applicant failed on the first attempt to secure the vessel. Another opportunity is given to demonstrate the complete task. Task 3. Safety briefing. Criteria. The applicant communicates their knowledge of their vessel's safety equipment for the area of operation and ensures that the information is understood by all persons on board by identifying the type of safety equipment, identifying the location of the safety equipment, checking that the information is understood by all persons on board.
Okay, Ray, you're about to undertake the third task. Please conduct a safety briefing for the area we are operating in.
Okay. In here we've got quite a bit of safety equipment. Okay, we've got an EPIRB, 2 parachute flares, 2 handheld red flares and 2 smoke flares. Okay, under here we have a 27 megahertz marine radio set on channel 88, which is our emergency and calling channel. Here we have a bilge pump, which is both manual and auto. And at the bow we have an anchor with sufficient line. I've checked it's not tangled. And we've got a life jacket for every person on board.
The applicant has demonstrated all the safety equipment on board the vessel. However, he's only required to demonstrate the equipment for the area of operation. It could be that the only safety gear required for the area is a bucket.
Ray, are you satisfied you've completed the safety briefing?
The skipper has forgotten the third criterion. He has another opportunity to complete the task again.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I didn't ask if you understood.
Please do the task again.
Okay.
Task 4. Motor checking and starting. Criteria. The applicant demonstrates the pre-checks and safe starting of their engine by fuel system, checking fuel ventilation, fumes, checking fuel lines are open and connected, checking fuel levels are adequate for voyage. Not all the criteria apply to all motors. The candidate must fulfill all those appropriate to the boat in use. This is an outboard boat, so ventilation is not an issue. On an inboard, checking ventilation would at least involve lifting the motor box and sniffing the bilge. Criterion met. Cooling system. Checking coolant levels are fitted. Checking intakes are open and clear. The outboard does not have a cooling system that can be checked before starting, so this criterion does not apply to this assessment. This applicant needs to ensure that the intakes are clear. Criterion met. On an inboard, you would need to see the header tank being checked if a heat exchanger were fitted, and a check that the seacock was open. Electrical system. Checking that power is turned on, checking kill switch if fitted. The skipper turns on the battery isolator switch, checks that the dead man switch is in place, and connects it to his wrist. Criterion met. Startup. Selecting neutral gear, checking that it's safe to start, starting the motor, checking that the motor is running satisfactorily, checking water pump is working, monitoring motor. You must see the candidate check the gear lever for neutral.
Is it clear down by the prop rod, please?
Asking his crew if all is clear aft is satisfactory.
Yes, Ray, you're clear.
And having started, turning around to look at the motor as evidence of checking for the coolant telltale. Criterion met. On an inboard, he might ask his crew to check for a discharge. If the motor doesn't start and it's a candidate's own boat, then the assessment should be terminated. Task 5. Voyage plan. Signing on. Criteria. The applicant communicates by radio or other means the voyage and vessel details to a responsible person by notifying them of the vessel's name, registration or call sign, the departure point and time, the destination, the trip intentions, the number of persons on board, the amount of fuel carried, the estimated time of return.
Okay, Ray, please log on for our voyage.
The plan must be lodged with a responsible person, which may include a simulated radio call to sea rescue, be written out or spoken.
Okay, how far are we going from the jetty?
The skipper may need trip information from you. Only answer specific questions.
Oh, no more than 500 metres.
Okay. We'll go through Victor Lima Whiskey 6474, call up Fremantle Sea Rescue, and indicate that it's now 10 o'clock and we're leaving the jetty at East Fremantle, travelling no more than 500 metres from the jetty, and we should be returning about 10:45. We're doing an assessment for our recreational skipper's ticket.
The applicant failed to mention the number of people on board and the amount of fuel in the first attempt. He has another opportunity to complete the task.
You haven't listed all of the elements. Would you like to have another go at it?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Let's please complete that task again.
Okay.
Task 6. Departing a berth. Criteria. The applicant safely departs a berth by demonstrating checking that it's safe to perform the manoeuvre, allowance for the effects of wind current, departing with little or no impact with berth, not impeding other vessels, using appropriate revs, demonstrating smooth and timely use of gears, mooring lines are stowed, replaced, secured.
Your next assessment is departing the berth, so please depart the berth.
Okay, good. Could I get you to drop the stern line in the bow and just give us a gentle push off, please?
There is no single acceptable manoeuvre for departing a berth. It's up to the skipper how he or she achieves it. However, all criteria must be met. The skipper is checking all round that he will cause no interference to other water users.
Okay, Ray, bow line's free.
Okay.
The boat is on the downwind side, so the skipper's using the wind to take him off.
All right, ready to go.
He's failed this criterion because he did not allow for the swing of the stern. He's used too many revs and has impacted heavily with the jetty. He has another opportunity to complete the task again. On his second attempt, the skipper has successfully met the first 3 criteria. Criterion 4 is also met as he has not impeded other vessels.
Push us off, please, Rod. Thank you.
Using appropriate revs, demonstrating smooth and timely use of gears, criterion met. Task 1 criteria must be complied with during the entire assessment. By giving way to the crossing vessel, the applicant has demonstrated safe skippering and continues with the assessment. The ropes must be either stowed inside the boat or tied off in some way that they can't trail in the water and foul the propeller. Criteria met. Task 7. Retrieve a simulated man overboard. Criteria. The applicant demonstrates their competent manoeuvring of the vessel to retrieve a simulated man overboard by turning vessel towards the man overboard, swing the stern away, simulating the throwing of a floating aid, assigning someone to maintain a visual watch on the man overboard, completing the turn so as to retrieve the person from downwind, approaching at an appropriate speed, dead slow, but maintain steerage. Stopping the vessel downwind, the man overboard. Stopping engine before retrieving man overboard. Retrieve man overboard. This task must be carried out in open water, well clear of other boats.
Okay, Ray. I'm going to throw a simulated man overboard over the side, and I'll shout man overboard.
Yep.
When I do, I'd like you to retrieve it using the man overboard procedure.
Okay.
The assessor is responsible for choosing the place and moment for putting the man overboard.
Man overboard.
The skipper must initially turn the vessel towards the man overboard.
Okay, don't take your eyes off him. Can we throw a buoyancy aid to place?
The skipper may delegate tasks to the crew, such as maintaining watch, throwing flotation aids and retrieving. These are two distinct criteria from the point of view of scoring negatives, yet they should take place at nearly the same moment. The skipper must approach the man overboard heading into the wind. The direction of waves or flags or the feel of air on your face will tell you what the wind is doing. Moored boats may be heading into current. The skipper should be straightening up so as to pass near, not through the man overboard. Appropriate speed is slow. There must be no engine manoeuvring near the man overboard to lose speed. The vessel must drift to stop near the man overboard.
Well done, Ray.
Criteria met. This example fails. The speed is excessive. The skipper has approached too close. And the engine has not been turned off. Task 8. Determine position by using navigational marks, transits and other landmarks. Criteria. The applicant demonstrates their ability to record and communicate the vessel's position using landmarks and navigational aids by notifying the assessor of objects that align to form the transit used to fix the vessel's position. Use the transit to steer a steady course for 30 seconds.
Okay, Ray, can you please select the objects you'll be using for your transit and then steer a steady course along it until I say stop?
The choice of transit objects is up to the skipper. There might be nav aids, or as informal as buildings, conspicuous trees or sand patches.
Okay, well I'm using the forward, for my forward lead, the starboard marker up ahead of us, and then the 3 lights up on the hill in the distance. That's what we're going to line up.
Great. Please steer a steady course for 30 seconds.
Okay.
If the leads drift slightly, so long as the skipper takes corrective action, the criterion is met.
Okay, Ray, thank you. That's 30 seconds.
Task 9. Controlled stop. Criteria. At a speed of approximately 5 knots, the applicant demonstrates their ability to safely stop the vessel within 2 boat lengths by checking that it's safe to perform the task, shouting a relevant warning, hold on, reducing engine revs, engaging neutral gear, engaging reverse gear, using appropriate revs to stop the vessel, stopping the vessel within 2 boat lengths. Choose a piece of clear water for this. Get the boat running straight and at what you and the skipper agree is 5 knots. Slightly slow is okay, but certainly not faster.
Okay, Ray. When I say stop, can you please bring the vessel to a complete stop within 2 boat lengths?
Okay.
The assessor checks for all clear.
Stop now.
Okay, hold on.
You want to see the skipper look behind him at least. You want to see criteria 3 and 4 made as 2 distinct movements. 1 into neutral, 1 into reverse. The boat stops in under 2 boat lengths. Criterion met.
Thank you, Ray.
Task 10. Vessel is safely navigated and secured alongside a berth. Criteria. The applicant demonstrates their competent manoeuvring and securing of the vessel by checking that it's safe to perform the manoeuvre, not impeding other vessels, selecting the appropriate side of the vessel to lay alongside as a result of wind current observations, approaching the berth at an appropriate speed, approaching the berth at an appropriate angle, demonstrating smooth and timely use of gears, using appropriate revs, arriving at the berth with little or no impact to vessel and structure, securing the vessel appropriately with mooring lines.
Okay, Ray, please navigate the vessel to the jetty and secure it alongside.
Checking it's safe to perform the manoeuvre and not impeding other vessels are not identical. Checking that it's safe does not have to refer to your encountering other vessels. Here's an example.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the wash of these boats to go by.
Having indicated the berth, you could ask the skipper which side he's choosing and why, or which side he would choose if he did have options.
And I'm going to head up into the wind and the current, which will slow the boat down. If you can grab the jetty as we come alongside, please.
Criterion met. The actual berthing manoeuvre is up to the skipper. It just has to achieve an arrival alongside with little or no impact. The skipper is choosing to drive the boat alongside. Appropriate speed is always slow speed, and the speed must not be adjusted to slow at the last moment. The appropriateness of the angle depends partly on the boat type, the chosen manoeuvre to get alongside, and also on wind and current. The skipper is setting his speed in good time. He's setting up his angle of approach, ready for his berthing manoeuvre. Both criteria met. Demonstrating smooth and timely use of gears, using appropriate revs, criterion met. Arriving at the berth with little or no impact to vessel and structure, criterion met.
Thank you. Well done.
And you'll want to see a similar standard of securing alongside as before setting out on the assessment. The skipper can choose any method that achieves the criterion, but alongside has to be achieved without shaking passengers or potentially damaging the boat. These examples fail. Task 11. Voyage plan, signing off. Criteria. The applicant communicates by radio or other means the vessel's safe return by notifying a responsible person of the vessel's name, registration number or call sign, advising the responsible person of their safe return.
Okay, Ray, can you please log off from our voyage?
Okay. Fremantle Sea Rescue, Fremantle Sea Rescue. This is Victor Lima Whiskey 6474. Over. And when they come over, I would say we've returned safely to the jetty in East Fremantle. Thank you for your coverage. Out.
The applicant has given the vessel's call sign and advised of his safe return. Criteria met.
Thanks, Ray.
This applicant has satisfactorily completed both the theory and practical sections of the RST.